Thank you very much for staying tuned in. This is Business Lens TV show, your entrepreneurial TV program. Today we are looking at how SMEs and entrepreneurs can get office spaces in cities and still not pay as much as we know they are expected to pay these days. My guest for today is a real estate personnel. She's been in the industry for a very long time, worked with several international organizations, and currently she serves as the manager of Empower Office Suites. She is Josephine Fafa Doegah, and she is going to educate us on new developments in the real estate industry and how SMEs can take advantage of them. Josephine Fafa Doegah is the general manager of Empower Office Suites. Her company provides conducive office environment for businesses of all sizes, startups, SMEs, and multinationals. Her dynamic and revolving career of over 15 years reflects excellent sales, organizational customer service skills, as well as several transferable skills to deliver outstanding results in any corporate environment. These combined skills have given her the ability to quickly understand complex concepts, identify and solve problems. Formerly, she was the area manager of Regis Accra, where her responsibilities span from recruiting, inducting, training, and developing central team to maximize their performance and engagement. Josephine, thank you very much for joining us on Business Lens.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You look wonderful.
Thank you. So do you.
Great. SMEs across Africa have been facing this peculiar challenge of getting an office space. You have been in the industry for some time. One would ask, why is it so difficult for small businesses to get offices that are suitable? Most of these guys are now working from their homes and other places, coffee shops and other things. What is the difficulty in this space?
The biggest challenge for these SMEs would be their cost, because everybody has some sort of capital that they're going to use to start their business. Okay, you wouldn't want to put all your capital into getting an office space to work from. Okay, so usually most of these buildings will ask you to pay for maybe 2 years in advance, you know, and so forth. That ties up their capital that they use to, you know, try and be productive. Okay. So basically that is the main thing, cost. Okay, and then finding the right location as well.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you're getting a location that is closer to the central business district, would that cost a lot more?
Yes, definitely it will cost a lot more, the central business district, because that's where most of the businesses are situated. The head offices and the headquarters of most of the businesses in Ghana are located in the central business district. Yes.
And is it necessary for, because you talk about cost and location, I think these two are sort of intertwined. The closer you get to the central business district, the higher you have to pay. But is it really necessary for some of these new companies to be located at these central business districts?
No, I don't think it is very, very necessary for them to be located in these places, because you can have access to your clients, different ways of having access to your clients. You can go and visit them. They can come to your office. You don't have to be located right in the central business district. There's so many ways of getting to your clients these days, via email, social media, different ways. Make yourself accessible to your clients.
After getting even an office space that is not necessarily in the central business district, what are some of the other challenges that these new companies face?
Apart from the location, you're talking about running of the space. Okay, in terms of taking care of the utilities, the installation of the setting up of the place, installation of internet, other things that need to get the office up and running. All these are costs that they incur. Apart from just getting the right location, they'll have to look at all these extra costs.
That could be a lot of money.
Yes, that is quite a hefty amount of money.
Yeah, yes. Because if after renting the space, now you are going to look at getting your internet connections, the utility bills. Wow.
Then getting people to manage the facilities in terms of cleaners, you know, and then your staff as well. That's extra.
Due to the challenges that SMEs face concerning renting their own offices, now some entrepreneurs are being innovative and they are bringing up new ideas about how to reduce the cost of getting an office space. You have been in the industry. How do these models work?
Okay, we have shared office spaces. Okay, shared office spaces, there are different types. You have the co-working, where you share a room with other companies. Basically, you're sharing the desk. You have a desk in a room with other companies also with their own individual desks.
Okay, so one room,
yes,
with different companies,
yes,
individuals from different companies,
all
sharing the same room.
The same room.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have probably a floor of a building or maybe a whole building that is being managed by one company, where each company has its own private office. Okay, but these two options both have access to maybe the kitchen. You have a shared kitchen, you have meeting rooms that are shared as well, and you have a reception area. So you're thinking that you're probably just paying for a desk, but you're not. You are paying for that little amount of money that you're paying. You're going to have access to a receptionist, you're going to have access to meeting rooms, you have access to a kitchen, washrooms, and all the staff that manage that space. You are not liable for paying them. You're sharing the cost. And then we have the virtual office, whereby you just get to use the business address, or you can decide to use a telephone, have a telephone number that is answered at that location by the receptionist in your company name. Or you can decide to combine the two, both the business address and the telephone number, that you can use on your complimentary cards, you can use in registration. You're not physically there, you are virtually there. But anybody who walks in there to ask for your company will be told that yes, they are based here.
Okay, that's innovative. So basically you're talking about three different models. One, where a group of companies actually share in one room. And the second one, say a group of companies sharing a floor. So Office A is for Business Lens, Office B is for Josephine and Co, and then Office C is for someone else. And the third one is about getting a virtual office. So you don't necessarily have a physical presence there, but then you're registered there and you use the address.
Address or the telephone line. You have access to all the facilities there as well whenever you are in there.
Wow, wow, that's interesting. So if you use a virtual service, for instance, and say a client comes to see you, how does it work?
When an individual or a company decides to opt for a virtual office, they are not physically there all the time, like I said. However, in instances where they are not there, where people walk in to ask for them, okay, the receptionist or whoever is at their desk will take messages for them and pass it on to them. They might either call them and say, oh, someone's here looking for you. Can you meet the person? Should they wait for you? And things like that. But the client, your client, or the company's client, whoever it is, will be led to believe that it's not false, that this is where you are located, this is where you run your business from. That's what happens.
That sounds good, because, and before we go into the costing aspect, I think the virtual is quite cheaper compared to the other options.
It is. Yeah, it is. We have different prices for each option.
We'll be right back after this break. Do stick and stay with us as we explore the concept of co-working space and shared office. Welcome back. This is Business Lens, and my name is Tasishus Edem Doponyo. Today we are looking at getting an office space for your SME or startup. And my guest in the studio is Josephine Fafa Doegah. She is the general manager of Empower Office Suites. Fafa, let's look at the types of businesses that this new concept of office space, space sharing and co-working are suited for. Definitely, if you're into manufacturing, I'm not sure you can pack your equipment and share your office space with some other tech guy or somebody who is working on a website or a blogger. So what kind of companies are these office spaces suited for?
The type of companies that usually go in for these shared spaces are IT companies. We have law firms. We have designers, fashion designers. We have people who actually need a professional environment. Yes, those are the kind of people who come for these kind of spaces.
And once they are sharing these office spaces, what are some of the advantages? You know, one would say, I'm not really comfortable sharing an office with someone. Somebody may be looking over my project and somebody may steal my idea. Yeah. But yeah, so what are some of the advantages that companies who ascribe to this new shared office space and co-working spaces, what are the advantages that accrue to them?
If we talk about, let's take one at a time, let's talk about the co-working. Okay. For the co-working, you know that you are right next to somebody who you can network with. It's an open office. The networking is open right there in your face. The person next to you can do something for you that you might be looking, that might help your business. Yeah. And you can also help another person's business. It's just networking right in your face. So that is one big advantage, to be honest.
I think it'll be easy to actually market your product to them as well.
Exactly.
So if you're a web designer and you have, say, people from 5 companies in your room or that same office,
you've got clients there right there.
That's great.
You see.
Okay.
Yes. And then the private office as well. Many people who usually go for the private offices will probably be the law firms. Okay. They have confidential information that they don't want other people who just stretching their neck to see. Okay, they also have some advantage because they can meet people in the hallway or maybe in the corridor, wherever. The kitchen, you share the conference rooms. You can get your clients right next door to you. Okay, the bills and, like I said, the cost sharing is the biggest advantage. You're sharing the salary for the receptionist. You're sharing the electricity, the air conditioning. You're sharing the internet. You're sharing the salary for the cleaners. You know, you're sharing costs. Yeah. So that is the biggest advantage.
And about virtual offices as well.
The virtual office, the biggest thing is that you can be, it's for people who are basically on the go, people who need to be on the go. You know that if you get a phone call or something has to be delivered to you, you don't have to be in one place. Okay, you have somebody who can pick it up, who can receive it for you at the reception. Well, you have somebody who can receive it for you at the reception, somebody at the reception that can answer a call for you, somebody at reception who can receive your clients. You're sharing her, you don't have to pay her salary alone.
Okay.
You know,
it's all part of the cost.
It's all part of the cost. It's all incorporated into the cost. So you don't have to worry about that. You can just focus on your core business and just be on the go and just be making money. You don't need to worry about anything else.
Wow, that sounds really cool. For, you know, there are people who have offices because they have to kind of get a physical representation. They don't really stay in the office, but at least if you ask them, they should be able to show you something. So I see the advantage you're talking over there. You don't need to actually pay for something that you're not using. So you have a virtual office where, wow, interesting. Anyway, so aside the benefits that you've mentioned, one would still ask, well, why has this principle, why has this new model, why is it becoming so popular these days?
Well, it's becoming popular because people are realizing that you don't need so much space only for yourself to be able to be productive. You don't need a huge office to be productive. You're paying for space that you are not using. You can just have a desk to yourself, you know, and then be productive. You have your desk, your laptop, you have internet, you have a phone. Now you can be productive at a desk, not a whole big office. Networking is one major thing that people are interested in. So where you can meet people and work at the same time is great, you know. And there's several benefits as well.
What is your most striking experience in working in this space?
Working in this space, well, I can't put my finger on actually one experience, but most of the things that people come with are trying to find solutions that are flexible enough, that are tailored solutions specific to their needs and to their whatever they produce or what kind of service they give to their clients. So they want flexibility. Okay, so in terms of the co-working, there's several flexible options for that as well. And that is because I'm picking on that because we're targeting, you know, entrepreneurs, maybe SMEs and startups with a small budget. These people probably come in, maybe they want to use the space for an hour or two a week. You know, we have options like that. So you can decide to take it for daily, hourly, daily, weekly, for short term. Okay, and that's flexible enough. That's not as expensive as having to pay for a whole month and not be there every single day. Just give them flexible options, okay? Then they can afford and then be productive. That's one thing that most of these people look out for, flexibility.
Okay. Well, you are watching Business Lens, and today we are learning a lot about co-working space, shared office, and virtual office. I guess as Josephine, Fafa, Doegah. So paint a picture of how the co-working space actually works.
Like I said, the co-working is sharing a room with different companies.
Okay.
So you come to work one morning, obviously you probably have a permanent desk. Okay, so you just go to your desk. There are different options. You can decide to have a permanent desk or a flexible desk that you come hourly, whatever. Okay. But if you have a permanent desk, you just come into the office on a daily basis. You probably have a locker or something designated to you where you can keep all your documents that you don't need to be carrying back and forth with you. Okay. You have a key to it. You sit at your desk, start working, probably say hello to the next person if you want to. If you don't want to, that's fine. It's just normal day. You can work from 8 to 5 or whenever you want to. It's entirely up to you. If you have if you're expecting guests or clients, you'll be informed when they come in. If you have meetings and you've booked your meeting rooms or whatever, you use it at that time. Normal day in the office. Beautiful. Or if you have to go out, go and do some business outside and come in, it's the normal working day.
This concept is brilliant and it's pretty new in our system. And well, I know quite a number of them are coming up these days. What are they seeing? What is the opportunity? How is the market like for people who are looking to actually start something in this particular space?
Well, it's a good market because this is a gap that has been identified. A lot of people are trying to fill this gap by opening up all these co-working setups for entrepreneurs and all these people who need to have a professional business address, or they need professional support to start up their businesses and to run their businesses. So once they can give all this kind of support to these startups, the business is going to kick off. Because there are a lot of people starting up their businesses these days.
Since this is a business-focused program where we educate entrepreneurs on the various challenges and opportunities, now that we know that, yes, opportunities exist in this space, with your experience, what are some of the major challenges that owners of these kind of facilities are confronted with?
Well, it's the main thing I would say is that they should just get their price right. Okay. You know, fix your price right, because obviously there's a lot of competition coming up now. So once your price is right and your service offering is tailored to suit every single person, and you're flexible enough to adjust to everybody's requirements within reason, you can be able to overcome all these things. So that is one of the main things that you should look out for. Just flexibility. Just make sure that you know what your target market is, where to get them. You know, make sure you can just lock them in. Then you are set. Okay.
You talk about the pricing aspect, and I'm sure the pricing is dependent on a couple of issues. Before you say that one desk is, say, 10 Ghana or $50, some things might have influenced that decision. Yes. So what are the things that influence the pricing of these co-working spaces?
Like I said, the pricing, it will just depend on what your client needs. The clients who comes in may not need, probably some of my clients may not need to use the internet. Okay. They just want a quiet desk to work from, okay? That price will be different from somebody who comes in and wants to use the internet, okay? Maybe for an hour, maybe for 2 hours, the prices vary, okay? Somebody who come in and decide that, oh, I just want this desk for a day, all that affects pricing. Another thing is that it depends on what kind of other facilities that are available to them in the space. Some may have a locker, some may have side drawers, some may have just like a filing cabinet. All these costs are different. Okay, so it depends on what you actually use in the space that will affect how much you are charged. Okay,
so let's look at it from the aspect of those providing the space. If I'm providing a space, say a desk for a day, and another company is also providing a desk for a day, what are the factors that will come into the pricing of my company versus the other person's company?
Well, you can even talk about location as well. Okay. Co-working space in, should I say maybe Spintex, will probably be cheaper than a co-working space right here where we are located at the Octagon. This will be a lot more higher. This is the Central Business District. And this building, you know, is top notch. And this business address alone will sell your company for you. Exactly. Also, the administrative services that you get, the administrative support, the professionalism, everything will be different from one co-working office to another.
The idea is brilliant. A lot of people are patronizing these days, but of course there are some challenges that are coming up. One is the issue of lack of privacy. If you're working from your own office, yes, you have your own privacy to do what you want to do. And there are other challenges that are coming up. First, what are some of the major challenges that you have encountered with your clients, and also how are some of these challenges solved?
Well, with the co-working, one of the main challenges that people might have is privacy. Okay? All right. This startup or entrepreneur, whatever, he may not be able to afford his own office. So the co-working is what he can afford. Okay? All right. So he comes to work every day. He has a problem with privacy. How do we go about this issue? Well, what I would just calmly suggest to him is that maybe he takes an additional service, okay, that we might have. Okay, maybe he takes a locker to keep his stuff in. Maybe he can decide to use the meeting rooms at a discount to make his private calls or whatever he needs to do that doesn't need audience for. You know, certain things you can come up with different ways of solving these issues for these clients, because there's no way I can tell this client who cannot afford a private office to leave the co-working and go and take a private office, knowing very well that he cannot afford it. Yes, so just give him different options that he can work with. Yes.
Okay. This has been Business Lens, and I am Tarsicius Adam Doponyo. Josephine, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
It's been wonderful, and we've learned a lot from you. She is Josephine Fafa Doegah, and she is the General Manager of Empire Office Suite. Thank you very much for watching Business Lens. For more information, visit our website, businesslens.tv.com. My name is Tarsicius Adam Doponyo. You can follow me on the various social media platforms at DopAdam. You can also follow Business Lens at Business Lens TV. God willing, next week we will meet again, and we will bring you another educative and informative segment of Business Lens. In all that you do, I entreat you to remain positive, for no one knows enough to be a pessimist. Thank you.